Harvest season is coming, and Acres has discounted many of our late model John Deere combines. Get thousands in discounts and upgrade for this year's harvest. Plus, you could save even more with interest rates starting as low as 1.9% on select units. Low interest rates combined with our huge discounts, there's not a better time to buy. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends August 31st, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Hey fans, there's more winning at Amigos with the VIP Game Day giveaway. Every app scan is your chance to win premium tickets to a Nebraska football, basketball, and volleyball game, along with exclusive game day perks. And when Nebraska goes to a bowl, the winner also gets 2 tickets, lodging, and airfare to the bowl game. Weekly semifinalists will win free food for a year. Go Big Red. Eat at Amigos and enter to win.
Amigos is celebrating 45 years with exclusive Nebraska Legends collectible cups featuring Tom Osborne, John Cook, and some of your favorite Huskers. For every cup sold, 50 cents goes to teammates. Show your Big Red pride by getting all 4 of these collectible cups at Amigos.
This is Tom Osborne with the Teammates Mentoring Program. We have students on the waiting list for a mentor. We want you to join the team. Learn more about mentoring and support teammates by visiting Amigos.
An overdose can happen in front of you and you might not realize it. Blue lips, slowed breathing, pinpoint pupils, choking sounds, unresponsive to touch or sounds. These signs aren't always obvious, but they can be deadly. Knowing what to do could save your friend, your neighbor, your child. Learn more by visiting myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can be ready before it happens. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion, for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Nebraska Volleyball just wrapped up another match. Join former Husker Mandy Monson as she breaks down the game from the hard swings and perfect sets to the diving digs and precision passing. 93.7 The Ticket's post-game coverage of Nebraska Volleyball starts now.
Welcome to it. It is Nebraska Volleyball Postgame, live 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Austin Norman with you on the ones and twos. More importantly, former Husker outside hitter Mandy Monson in the hosting chair for Nebraska Volleyball Postgame. Mandy, officially nice to meet you.
It's great meeting you. I thank you for having me again. You guys, I really have to say, one, thank you to The Ticket for allowing this opportunity. I mean, I know when I was talking with Rebecca and Derek, you know, they're like, we need to have a post-game show. We're looking to do that. And so I love doing this. I love going to the matches. I love just, you know, being in the atmosphere. And today's atmosphere was really, really fun. I think I told you when I came in, you know, it's a 3 p.m. match. We're usually not playing at 3 p.m. No Husker football. You know, Husker football team got the weekend off. Good for them. They're getting a little rest. But it was really fun. The athletic department did a great job in Devaney of bringing, they had face painting for the kids. They had some opportunities to do spin the wheel and get some fun items. But from a fan's perspective, I thought it was just a great atmosphere, a great time to be in Lincoln, Nebraska on, you know, an early fall day. Mm-hmm. And like the weather's beautiful right now. Mm-hmm. So, and the fans were, it was packed. There was a guy that they kept showing on the big screen that had the corn shirt and the corn hat.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, that is, it was good. He was ready to go. So yeah, it's great being here. I think we got actually some really great content to talk about in regards to the match. It was definitely a more competitive match than what we had against Michigan. And I actually think that's a good thing. And so I think we can touch on a lot of different things. And I think the next hour we'll, sit back, have some fun together and, talk Husker volleyball.
Back-to-back sweeps for Nebraska to open up conference play. It's the first weekend. Let's start with, though, the weird tip-off time, 3:00. But I don't hate that for Nebraska. I think that's part of the power of Nebraska volleyball is that, hey, just because football has an off week, most other places around the conference, okay, volleyball's in town, they're still here. Maybe they get shipped out on the road. I hope this was intentional from Nebraska and from the Big Ten office to give this program its own spotlight for 2 games, right? Obviously, the Wednesday game against Michigan on the bye week, and then right smack dab in the middle of the afternoon.
Yes.
It's after lunch. You can go get lunch, hang out downtown and get there, or getting off the match now. Hey, head downtown, get supper, walk by 10:40, whatever.
Yes.
I think that's fantastic planning and maybe a good introduction to conference play for Nebraska against a Michigan team that they swept and then a more game Maryland team today.
I totally agree. And what I do want to say, okay, so I've been going to volleyball matches for some time now. I played at Nebraska. So what I really experienced today is the entertainment value. Mm-hmm. And that's something I wanted to touch on because it really hit me today. I mean, Nebraska volleyball has always been entertaining, but I think what we're seeing in right here, right now is this evolution of not just, the volleyball team is awesome and amazing, but this was an entertaining experience when you were in Devaney today. Everything from the phenomenal play and the Huskers, yes, there were some things that we're going to talk about that they can definitely get better at. They had some things they're going to work through, but I mean, the music was awesome. The cheerleaders, I was sitting there, I was watching our cheerleaders and I'm like, you know what? We're really high performance, honestly, at about every level we could be. So the cheerleaders were super fun to watch. And the other one of the many things that I noticed is just all the young fans in the stands with their posters. So there were many, little girls. It was their first game. They're getting on the big screen. Yeah. And so I think it honestly makes me really proud to be a Nebraskan. I've lived in Nebraska my whole life. So I grew up in a small town in Western Nebraska, farm kid, had cattle, came to the university, played volleyball, went to school here, graduated. And then, I was one of those that came to Lincoln and I stayed. And, I think some people, could look at that and go, well, you never got out. Well, no, I love it here. And I love the culture here. And the other thing too, that the evolution of Nebraska volleyball as it's, been occurring. And I think the right here, right now is it is just a fun place to be. It's a great place to take your kids. It's a great experience to have if you want to see high level sports, be around a positive atmosphere and be around a competitive atmosphere. So when they were in that second match or second set and Maryland was hanging with us because they were you have to give a team props when they're playing well. And Maryland was serving tough. They had a couple players that I thought played really well today. But number 3, who was their attacker on the right side, she had a great match. And so she was, pushing us with her serve, but man, it got loud in Devaney. I think it got up to maybe 96 decibels, right when they're showing that. And here's what it reminded me of. I remember when I was younger and as a birthday present, my dad farmed and it was always busy during the fall time of year. And when I was like a fourth, I want to say 5th grader, my brother was a freshman in college here. And so my birthday gift was to come to the football game. Right. And we know that football games are entertaining. That's been happening,
for
forever.
70 years.
Yeah, for 70 years, right? And there's just that entertainment factor. You got the cheerleaders, you got the dancers, you got all the things going on. And I really felt like today, not that it hasn't been that before, but I really felt that same feeling attending the volleyball match today. And I thought that's super cool. I mean, I think it's just a different level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's a testament to the athletic department, a testament to the program that's been built, from Coach Pettit through Coach Cook and now into Coach Busboom Kelly that, I think it's important too when in most of the talk here is football, right? We get that. But volleyball, too, that's why it's important to have matches like this, where, you love Wisconsin and Penn State and Minnesota coming to town. You need those matches.
Yes.
But you think about the fact that you can, as an athletic department, take a match like Michigan in a midweek kind of weird setting, school night, and then come Saturday against a Maryland team off a long road trip and still make it feel like an event, an experience, not just, it's just something to do, I guess we'll go, but to have 8,000 plus people locked in for this match against a team that, like Athletic, gave Nebraska some fits at times, but there was something for everyone at this match.
Yeah. I mean, I love what you just said. I mean, it was an intentional event so my youngest daughter, Josie, went with me, and I'd love to have her actually come in for a segment to talk about, hey, what's it like for a younger person to what's that experience like? But we walked in and she's like, man, Mom, there is it's packed today. And so just what you said, I mean, today was an event and people came because we have a amazing volleyball team and we have an amazing experience at the University of Nebraska for volleyball fans when they come to Devaney and to the John Cook Arena. So such a great point that you just made.
Let's start talking about the game a little bit here. Let's go kind of big picture. 2 matches into Big Ten play. Danny Busboom Kelly 2-0. What transferred over from Nebraska's win against Michigan to Maryland today?
I'm just going to pause. I mean, what transferred over is at times we were actually maybe a little less dialed in than we were against Michigan, but I don't know. I think Maryland, they played us a little bit tougher. I think what always transfers over is our depth of players and the ability to not be reliant on one or two. Therefore, if one or two is not playing well, then you're struggling the whole game. You're at the mercy of whatever your top players do. And I think that is what makes us such a powerful team. I also think that DBK does such a great job of looking at all of the assets that she has on the team, right? She is looking at also the length of schedule. She talked about this on postgame, and I was excited to hear that because I thought the same. So the second set, she played a 6-2 where it was a double sub. So, Bergen and Virginia subbed out, and then Flynn and Ali Check came in. And what I saw during that second set when we played that 6-2 is I thought Campbell Flynn played excellent. I thought Ali Check played excellent. Both of those players are very good players. And so what I really enjoyed about seeing in that second set, and also I think that's why DBK is such a great coach, is she saw an opportunity in this match to continue working on the things that we need to work on for the season down the road, right? Because again, you never know, if a player is going to not be hitting the mark. And again, the great thing is we have a deep bench, so we can bring people in. I mean, Lainey Choboy, who's an awesome passer, awesome defensive specialist. She plays libero for us as well. I think she had a little bit of an off day today. And by the way, we have that, guys and gals.
It happens.
We, sometimes the match is just not your match. Maybe Taylor Landfer, maybe a little bit. That was that way for her today. But that's why we're so valuable as a whole entire team perspective, because we can have people come in. And again, going back to the second set, I thought it was great to see. I mean, there was a play where the middles played great today. We'll talk about that later. But Andy Jackson came in for a quick, but instead of going in front, she went behind. And man, Campbell just flicked that. I mean, it was a massive hole because there was a lot of action that was happening in that sequence and transition. But I would consider that a hit of the match. I mean, that was really cool to see. So I think in regards to the match in general, we came out slow in the first. We came out slow in the second. And again, sometimes that happens. You guys, it's a long schedule. It's a long year. They played a grueling preseason. They played really well against Michigan. And so, to come out and have, I would say they probably had more communication errors than anything on passing today. They didn't have a horrible passing game.
But just not a Nebraska standard.
Yeah, well, I think they got ace 9 times, right?
Yeah.
That is not the standard at Nebraska. You typically do not see that.
Well, that's not the standard at Maryland.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, but Maryland was a good serving team. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but there are blessings in those times where, you'd rather have that happen against Maryland than Wisconsin or Minnesota or Penn State, because what it allows us to do is go, hey, like, what do we need to get better at? Well, we need to get better at our communication, and we need to call the ball early. We can't make the decision after it's crossed the net.
Sure.
You can't do that. And so again, it goes back to serve and pass. And even when you're dealing with division, 1A athletes and professionals, because they're all that. They're such amazing athletes. There are always things that we can work on. And, volleyball is I think it's the ultimate team sport. There's so much communication that has to go on, and there's, it never ends. It never ends until the match ends, really. And so I think that's what you saw today. You saw some breakdowns in communications. You saw some players having to work through some things with themselves on the court. I mean, if you get aced, that can really be a mental thing that you have to work through. And even though they got aced 9 times, I do think ultimately they worked through it, right? Because they come back in the third set. That set, they came out strong. They served strong, and played, passed well. Bergen set the ball really well. And, they finished out the match very, very, very strong.
You heard from Danny Busby Kelly on the radio. I was watching the Big Ten Plus broadcast, and John Cook was talking to Jalen Reyes after the match about things. And John Cook noticed there was some conversation between Danny and Jalen going into the locker room there between sets.
Yeah.
And John Cook asked, hey, what were you talking to Danny Busby Kelly about there on your way back? And Jalen said, well, kind of just looking at stats, but really, Danny's halftime message was about playing to Nebraska's standard, not to the scoreboard when Nebraska got up in the second set. And then he did mention the communication needed to be better. He said he didn't want to blame it on the double subs because they play enough different rotations, enough players together that shouldn't be an issue. But to your point, sometimes we forget that, hey, these aren't Nebraska volleyball robots.
No, they're not robots. They're humans. And, sometimes you just have more mistakes in a match. That's such a good point. And I don't think there's anything wrong. Listen, we are a great team, and we are playing an opponent today. Maryland was a great competitive opponent, but we're playing an opponent today where we can try things out. You want to try things out when you can try things out, because when you get into the bigger matches, you just don't have that.
It can't be your first time, taking the floor with a lineup against Wisconsin or Penn State on the road. It just can't happen.
Right. So think about it this way. So when we get, down the road into season, and we go and we play a 6-2 system again with the double sub, we are not going to have a rotation error. We're not going to get called for a point because we are out of rotation. And it's very right. Volleyball is also it can be complicating, right? So they got called out of rotation, not because they were like out of rotation from where the players were supposed to be out on the court. The call out of rotation was because Campbell was in front of Rebecca, not behind her. Rebecca is a front row player. Campbell's a back row player, and she cannot be in front of Rebecca on the serve. Right? It's
the little things.
It's the little things, but right, that's probably not going to happen again because they did it. They tried it. They worked through it. And now they know it.
How surprised were you to see Danny Busby Kelly pull the trigger on going to the 6-2 in the second set?
That doesn't surprise me. That's what I like about her, though.
Nice.
I think that's what makes her a really strong coach. I think she's great at looking at all of her assets. Every player on that team is an asset. Every one of them.
Well, all of them saw the floor today.
No, yeah, all of them did. So, I think she's also willing to take risks, and you see that play out in the players' play, right? I think one thing that makes this team really special and also makes it's a differentiator for this team compared to past teams, a differentiator for this team compared to other teams in the NCAA and the Big Ten is, they play very, I keep saying, I think they play very regulated, meaning their nervous systems internally, I think, are very calm, right? They're not getting too shook up if they got aced. Lainey in the third set, she came back out. She got aced in I want to say, I don't know, the first 10 points. Well, she didn't freak out in her mind. She slapped her hands together. They came into the huddle and, everybody came into the huddle. No one was right. And she's like, I got this. So when Danny Busboom Kelly makes decisions to try new things out and not have it be this massive deal, because it's not, right? She's working through her assets. She's seeing, what are gameplay situations where certain players play well together. Hey, right. She's thinking about it all the time. Okay. When could I try this? When could I try that? And I think today's match was a great time to do it. And again, I thought Campbell did really well. Bergen did really well. Ali Czech is a great player.
That's a huge get from Baylor, just out of the transfer portal, out of the blue.
Yeah.
You don't expect a player like that to be available very often.
No. And today, if you look at Virginia, she didn't have as good of a match today. I think she's a phenomenal player. I like her a lot. But she was a little discombobulated in the first set or two. She came back in the third and played much stronger. But that's why you have to be able to take these opportunities to play more players and do it. Because if you don't, you get further down in the season, those people have been hanging out on the bench and it's different, right? So you want to train them from a physical standpoint and you want to train them from a mental standpoint so that when they're called to be an asset on the floor, they can do that.
We saw all of them in action today for Nebraska as the Huskers sweep Maryland 25-14, 27-25, and 25-14. Let's just talk about that 6-2 a little bit. How do you think Nebraska looked in that 6-2? What went well for them? What do you think they need to maybe clean up if they're going to go back to that again in the future?
Communication is what they have to clean up, right? So when you're doing, in 99, we played a 6-2. It was a very unique 6-2 though. It was where actually setters came in for the middles.
Hello.
I know, right? So, but it's really when you're doing that system and you just have more subs at one time, it's very much a communication. And it's also very much repetition. Because just like anything, the more you do something, the more familiar it becomes and it's not foreign. And so you get better at it. So during that set, when they did that, it was a little bit, everybody just a little bit out of sorts in the beginning of the set. But once they worked through that in the second set, like I said, I thought Campbell set very well. And she had a really good connection with Andy Jackson in that set. That's what I thought was really fun to see, right? You didn't have, Andy Jackson played phenomenal today, right? She had 9 kills. She hit 800 and, her play didn't drop off because Campbell didn't have timing with her in that second set. The left sides played really well. Sigler and Harper Murray had a very good match today. I thought she played really well. She hit 280. So, that's good. That's good for a left side. Left sides get a lot of swings. But the one thing that in the second set was demonstrated, but I think throughout the whole match today, the middles were very strong and really carried us through kind of that communication piece that we were dealing with. And that's rare. Usually what happens when teams are not playing well is the pins get set a lot. They either have to throw it outside or they have to throw it back. The reason why that didn't happen though is because even though we got ace 9 times, for the other times on the pass, we were usually in system. In transition, we were in system. So the second set with the 6-2, I think could be very helpful to us moving forward if we ever get against a team that we just want to be able to have 3 attackers in the front and attackers in the back. And here's what I did pick up. They did set the back row a little bit more this match, I thought. I'm like, did they hear me on my post-match comments against Michigan? Because I was like, what could they work on? Maybe doing some more right, back row attack just to, right, have some more diversity in the offense, which they already have a very diverse offense. So they did a lot of things well today. But again, is that communication and the passing on the serve. I think that was probably where they'll go back and look at that and go, what do we need to do different? How do we need to have better communication, calling the ball earlier? Because what happens, guys, is when there are serves that either are are dropping, it's because the players aren't communicating quickly enough for one person to commit to the ball or to be committed. It's really for one person to be committed to the ball, and they're taking the ball.
And really, I assume doesn't matter who, as long as it's someone, right?
Correct.
And that's what I like too about, I mean, even, John Cook's coaching style, and we saw from Danny Busboom Kelly, not overreacting to an ace. Obviously you don't like it. Obviously it's, you want to say, oh, we could have prevented that. Sure, you credit your opponent a little bit, but that's what I appreciate about Nebraska volleyball as a program, that there's not that overcoaching, right? You mentioned the little lady hand clap, well, I know I got to have that one. That's on me. I got to be better.
Yeah.
It's not, is coach going to yell at me, or is Olivia coming in, or is Maisie coming in to take my spot? It's, I missed it. I got to be better. But you can work through that against Maryland. You can work through the communication issues in the 6-2 like Maryland, like you did. And the BTN broadcast noted that's Nebraska's first extra points set win this year against Maryland. Which is kind of crazy to think about.
Man, I hadn't thought about that
match. But not only were they able to work through it, they were able to work through it and win because of enough coaching, but not over coaching.
I totally agree with that. And that's what makes Danny Kelly Busboom, I think, or Danny Busboom Kelly so great at what she does. And that entire coaching staff. You're so right? The coaches aren't jumping down players' throats when they make a mistake. And when you have a set of players like they have, they don't need to do that. And they also have, some players that are seasoned. So I thought Harper was just really calm today. I mean, she just worked today, I mean, she did that. And then Becca, she came in the first, when she got in the first set, she really made an impact. She played very well today. Both the middles played great. I thought from her impact on the team and coming in, I mean, she starts, but when she rotated in for her rotations, she was just very active. Again, she just has a presence about her that's very confident. And so, and she played great. She had 3 overpass kills. I was like, oh my gosh. So that's the other thing too, right? We got aced 9 times. How many aces did we have?
Nebraska on the day ends up with 5 of its own aces.
5 of its own. So we served tough too. And even when we just didn't get a straight up ace, we had, I say, Rebecca had 3 overpass kills. There were some others. So, we served tough today, and we're going to have to keep doing that in order to keep progressing the way that we want to progress in the Big Ten. You have to serve tough, because as we continue to get matchups against better passing teams, that's a huge part of the strategy, which is keeping them out of system.
We'll progress through volleyball postgame as we continue here on the ticket. Nebraska sweeps Maryland 25-14, 27-25, and 25-14. That's former Husker Mandy Monson. I'm Austin Norman. More volleyball postgame next on the ticket.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. With the school year here, A1 Automotive reminds you that college students get 10% off any service, and they offer free tire repair with a valid college ID. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive or downtown at 11th and L.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Schwizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schwizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schwizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs have been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
Back to Nebraska Volleyball Postgame on 93.7 The Ticket. Here is your host, former Nebraska outside hitter, Mandy Monson.
Welcome back in Volleyball Postgame, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Streaming worldwide for you, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo channel 961. Austin Norman here, Mandy Monson over there. Plenty to get to here yet on Postgame. Big shout out to Love Volleyball Omaha, everything they do for us here at the station. Jalen Reyes Joan, of course, on Volleyball Postgame. Let's get into some of the individual performances here. Mandy, we can go by position group as well, because I think that's where we should probably start. Rebecca Alec ties her career high 13 kills on 17 swings. Andy Jackson adds 9 kills on 10 swings with just 1 error. And Manaya Obeche adds a kill on her 3 swings. So if you're doing the math at home, that's 23 kills for Nebraska middles on the day out of the 49 that Nebraska put down. So about half. But how about this? Even more impressive than the middles getting nearly half of Nebraska's kills, Nebraska's 3 middles trailed Maryland's entire team total by just 2 kills.
Yeah, just 2. Yeah, the middles played very strong today. It was really a lot of fun watching them. Like I said, Rebecca definitely was a momentum and an energy changer in that first set. But Andy Jackson played amazing throughout the whole match, right? She had 9 kills, hit 800, and she was just, I mean, she was very powerful today. And she played well again when Bergen was in setting, and she had a great connection with Campbell. Andy also served really well today. I think she had 1 error in the net and 1 error long, but her serve really threw off the passers of Maryland. So that has been a fantastic addition to her repertoire and to the team for her to be able to go back and, run points, because volleyball is a game of runs. And she served great today as well. So I think if I was going to give a MVP to position type, it would totally be the middles. They also both blocked really well today. So the middles, I think, were the most consistent position today, coming in. And then it was really fun to see Manaya come in at the end. She comes in the third set, and there's, no drop off. She got a kill. I think she got another swing on the ball too. And
Coach Cook credited her on the kill. I mean, the angle that she was coming toward the set at kind of twisted back across her body.
Oh yeah.
So she's running to her right, kind of twists and places the ball down to her
right. And then she hit it, I think, inside the 10-foot line, on their right side of the court to her left. So
casual,
she's
no big deal.
Yeah, whatever. So she's a very athletic middle. I remember watching her and the other middle that is, I think she's redshirting this year. And those girls are they're both very athletic. Those players are. So yeah, I thought the middles did great today, just from a present standpoint. I don't think, middles can really make or break a match. Meaning, if you have no middles having production in a match, if your middles are watching the match while they're on the floor, meaning they're not getting off in transition, they're not being loud during volley plays, then what happens is you just set the balls to the pins, and the other team really, it's just a lot easier to play defense.
You get boring, you get predictable.
Well, you're
repetitive.
predictable. Yeah, right. Predictable is the right word. Which predictability in volleyball, if you're the predictable team, is really, it just makes your life a lot tougher. And Nebraska is not a predictable team. The middles played great. The setters also ran the back row attack today. So the outsides, even though we have great outsides, Harper had a very good game. We'll talk about that. Tara Sigler did very well on the left side. Landfair, I think, she didn't do terrible by any means. She just, she maybe struggled a little bit in the first set, and then Tierra played, I think, more in sets 2 and 3. But, Landfair played good. But the left sides were not, the pin hitters were not, the story today. I think the middles they played very consistent, and they blocked very well. So it was, the middles get the MVP for the match today, for sure.
I am a more of a basketball guy by trade. Being do the football, establish the run thing.
Yes.
And in the basketball, we got to get the ball inside, and then we can play inside out. Is volleyball a sport that when a team's offense is clicking, is played inside out, middles to pins, or outside in, pins to middles?
I love how you said that. It is establish the middles. If you establish your middles, if you establish the middles as an offensive threat, if you establish your middles as a blocking threat, just think about that. Okay, that makes everybody's life a lot easier. How do you establish middles? Well, 1, your middles have to be active, and 2, you have to have passers that are being consistent for you to put them in, in a consistent transition standpoint in system on side out. It starts with the pass, and then, right, your setters have to connect. But, you see this a lot in high school, where you see it more, you see it in college too, but sometimes your middles, because because you don't have as consistent passing in high school, sometimes the middles can get a little bit
I'm just out here.
And they get stuck at the net, and they get stuck. And then they're not even an offensive option, which then all your setter can do is either throw it to the left or throw it back. So yes, establishing the middles is huge for any team playing volleyball in order for them to be successful.
When you look at the 23 kills Nebraska's middles had, that would lead you to believe Nebraska passed pretty well overall. But you were saying, decent day passing, maybe not Nebraska's best, despite the 23 kills out of the middle.
Yeah, well, it wasn't horrible. It's the 9 aces that we took. So again, that goes back to, I do think Maryland did a good job of serving, and we had some aces, but I mean, it wasn't a horrible day passing. Again, it's communication, right? When we are competing against a tough serving team, we have to be even more intentional about our communication. We have to call the ball even before it crosses the net, right? You have to have that player commit to the ball, so that there's no question as to, who's going to take it, especially right? Volleyball, when you look at the three passers, when they're passing, there's seams. And so when a server's going back to serve, you guys will see this, right? You'll see coaches, right? They're doing numbers, and what they're doing, like when they're right, if it's between 1 and 6 or 5 and 6, right? What they're doing is they're splitting the passing zones.
Gotcha.
So then when you have a team that's really good at doing that, I think Maryland did a great job of that. Then what it forces your passers to have to talk more. And so I'm sure they'll work on that this week or moving forward in practice.
Yeah, it doesn't do you any good to serve it right at someone typically.
Well, no, that's like, then you're just doing like cupcakes and lollipops and right. And you're going to get, if you do that to Nebraska, you're going to get your head taken off with, the kill that's going to be coming towards you. By the way, oh my gosh, again, Maryland did have a tough time passing us in system. And again, we didn't ace them as much, but we had, at least I would say maybe 5 overpasses from them. So, we did a good job serving the ball at them as well today.
Absolutely. Nebraska dominates the first 2 sets, 25-14, 25-14 the first and the third, wins the second 27-25. Through one weekend of conference play now, and then 10 other non-conference matches. Are you seeing Rebecca Alec and Andy Jackson primarily as Nebraska's middles differentiating their roles from each other, or are they both pretty well-rounded in that, when Rebecca Alec's in, it's not just going to be, she's there to play defense. No, and Andy Jackson's in, Nebraska's really looking for offense. How have you seen their skill sets grow and develop just through these first dozen games for Nebraska?
Well, so they are both well-rounded players, but they are not the same players. And that's what makes them so fun and so dynamic and so successful and makes this team successful. Andy is... How I would describe Andy is she's majestic. She just, right. She has such a high vertical and she is just very physically dominating and powerful, right? She does a great job of coming in front of the setter or going behind. Both of them do, but they do it in different ways. I would say the vertical of Andy and just how dynamic she is really fantastic. Her blocking is also both of them block well. Again, it's kind of actually hard for me to put it into words. It's tough. I think Andy's not quite as expressive as Becca is. So I think from a statistical standpoint, sometimes Andy can actually have better statistics, maybe a better hitting percentage, even maybe more kills. But I think what is really fun to see about Rebecca, and she's always been this player. She's been very energizing since, she was a freshman. But I think in watching her growth, and when she talks about this, when she got done with last season, what did she want to be intentional about and what did she really want to bring to this season? I believe we see that on the court when she comes in and not only brings that really great energy, but it's such a confident, calming, dominating energy. Like I'm trying to put the right adjectives to describe it. And she, it was really fun during the match today. Who was it that got the kill? Maybe was it Allie that got it? I don't remember, but one of the other teammates got the kill. No, it was Siegler. That's what happened. It was Siegler. Siegler got a kill on the left side. And I think Rebecca was her biggest fan. You know what I'm saying? And so I think Andy's more that silent killer. Yeah. But and Rebecca's not silent, but she's not just, she's very joyful when she plays. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Becca's more in your face.
She's more in your face, but she's joyful in your face.
About
I would say the previous 3 years.
She's also about that life. She is not ducking any smoke.
No. But the previous years, I would say it was maybe not as much joy, if that makes. She was in your face and she was there. I just feel like she's playing freer this year.
What does that do for a volleyball player?
Oh man, it allows you to not be in your head and not be worried about making a mistake. And you saw that with Rebecca tonight in the match. Again, Andy's hitting percentage was higher. But, Rebecca had 13 kills. Yeah, I don't know, Rebecca has go-go gadget arms. There was 2 or 3 times tonight where either they were returning the ball to us and they thought they were just right. It was just going to kind of go. I mean, she just reached up and got a kill. Harper did that one time too. But Rebecca is an offensive threat even when she's on defense blocking.
She's looking for those opportunities where, I think I can get this one. I'm going to take a weird swing that you're not going to expect.
Yes. Yeah. And that, I think, is an evolution of her play this year. Not that she hasn't always been dynamic, not that she always hasn't been energetic. I feel like her court awareness, that's what it is.
Gotcha.
Because you also see that with Rebecca on defense. I mean, listen, she is down covering, right? When the left sides are hitting, she's getting a lot of balls up that are returned on their block, and she gets those up. I think Andy, if we're making a, going, okay, well, how has Andy progressed in that? I think Andy has always done a great job blocking. I think what's really fun to see about Andy and her progression this year is serving and also playing defense. I mean, you're talking about middles typically anymore do not play defense, ladies and gentlemen. They just don't. They're not trained to do it, which I think that is.
Well, that's always been a thing at Nebraska, right?
Correct.
For a long time, is that if you're not a 6 rotation player, we'll take you, but the goal is going to be to develop you into a 6 rotation player.
Yeah. So when you look though at the history of volleyball, before the libero and before Rally, Rally scored the whole time, you did have a majority of your players were playing all the way around. When we went to Rally scoring and we went to the libero, I mean, I think volleyball just went through a period where they're like, well, the liberos are just going to go in for the middles. So, and I'm talking, this is like from when you're training club kids that are starting at 7 to all the way to college. And I agree with you in that Nebraska has always had well-rounded trained players, but I think over the last, I don't know, when, Coach Cook was doing it, but I think Danny has done a very good job of making sure that any player, if you're on the court, you can play defense. I mean, just because you're tall and it takes you a little bit, maybe, longer to get to the floor, they're still digging balls. I mean, Virginia was on the floor digging balls. Everybody plays defense, but I think if you go, hey, well, where has the middles, where has their game really gotten better and evolved beyond just the fact that they're both dynamic and energetic and awesome players? I would say it's probably, Rebecca's, court awareness, and then Andy, her back row play and her serving.
And for Nebraska too, we talk about, working in the 6-2 here today, playing different rotations. If it comes down to it and, the middles aren't going to be trusted to play defense, well, at least you tried. But if they're called on later in the season or in the second round of the NCAA tournament, things are getting a little hairy and, someone's out with an injury and someone's got to step up. They've tried it. They've done it in practice. They've done it in matches, and they have confidence that, it's not my primary job. I'm still in here to be at the net.
Yes.
But if my team needs me to do this, I'm confident in my abilities to do it. Coach trusts me. And if Coach trusts me, I know that I'm going to have the backs of my teammates, and they're going to have my back when I go back there.
Well, it gives you statistically more opportunities to keep the ball in play and get a point off of the transition. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take another break here. We'll be back with one final segment. We have yet to talk about Harper Murray, the game that she had, pretty well-rounded game out of number 27. We'll talk about Harper Murray's game and look forward to Penn State coming up at the end of the week. She's Mandy Monson. I'm Austin Norman. This is Husker Volleyball Postgame on the Ticket.
Limitless Male says it's all fun and games until your testosterone plummets. Testosterone levels can start falling as early as age 30 with symptoms like no energy, poor sleep, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, and mood swings. If this sounds familiar, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel this good, you'll wonder why you waited so long to get a free consult at Limitless Male. Get scheduled today.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to SmokingGunJerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Back to Nebraska Volleyball Postgame on 93.7 The Ticket. Here is your host, former Nebraska outside hitter, Mandy Monson.
Welcome back to it. One final segment of Postgame. Austin Orman, Mandy Monson, and a special guest, future Nebraska outside hitter, Josie Monson, coming in the studio. Josie, you were at the match today with your mom. What do you think? Did you enjoy the atmosphere? How do you think Nebraska played?
So cool to watch them because they're just like all so kind, and I feel like they all care about each other so much.
That's amazing. Okay, I have to ask you, Jose. So who was your favorite player of the match today? Did you have a favorite player from today?
Probably Becca or Harper.
Oh, yeah, we just talked about Becca, and we're going to talk about Harper next. So here's what I wanted to ask you. Right, you're my sidekick a lot when we go to the matches. What did you think about, like, what do you think was super fun today at the match? And like, as a young person being at the match, what do you think's great about the Husker volleyball matches and what you get to see and what that experience is like?
Well, I feel like it's fun to go because like everyone on the team, they're just all like super connected and there's like no drama or anything. And like, I don't really like play volleyball. So it's just cool to like look at them as role models, like not just for volleyball, because obviously they're like amazing, but just as like people.
Yeah. Great people.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. So now as we continue in Big Ten play, if you had a suggestion for the Huskers to keep winning, do you have any feedback for the Huskers? What could they do better?
I don't really think they need feedback.
I love that. They don't need any feedback.
No coaching. Danny
No
Buston Kelly,
coaching.
you're good. Take the year off.
Yeah, DBK, you're good. Awesome. Hey, thanks, Jose. I just wanted to kind of get that perspective because there's so many young fans, right, that are in Devaney every match. And the evolution of volleyball, especially at Nebraska, has, been growing over time. Like I remember after matches, I mean, we would sit down on the court and we would sign I'm not kidding you, for at least half an hour. They don't do that anymore because you can't do it anymore, right? For a lot of different reasons. But man, I remember getting done with matches and I mean, we'd just be sweating, signing the balls that they threw out. But I just think it's just such a great atmosphere for young kids, for especially, girls. And I love what Josie said. And I also think that really makes this team special, right? Josie's actually a competitive dancer. She doesn't play. She doesn't play volleyball. So we got to get the Scarlets at the volleyball games, by the way. I love the cheerleaders.
It's 2025.
Yeah,
they're not there.
Well, yeah,
what are
like
we doing?
it's indoor. Let's get this
seriously.
Yeah, let's get the Scarlets there. But this volleyball team, they aren't just leaders on the volleyball court. And by the way, they don't just demonstrate leadership skills when they're just playing volleyball. Like Josie said, they're just such dynamic people. And when we as fans get to go watch them be amazing at their craft, they lead anyone. They show anyone, no matter if you're a volleyball player or a dancer or if you're a person in business, what it's like to commit to something, to be dynamic and to be successful. And so I love that you said that. Great job.
Absolutely. You did bring up the name Harper Murray in that conversation.
Yes.
Talk about what you saw from number 27 for Nebraska today.
She just, she was very calm. She was very collected. And there just really wasn't anything that she got too overly shook up about, and she was a player today that I felt like when she was needed and needed to be called upon, she executed. Does that make sense?
It does.
They didn't need her as much today because the middles were playing so phenomenally, but she's still right. She has 10 kills out of 25 attacks, 2 assists, 2 service aces, 10 digs. I mean, 1 block. Like, I feel like Harper's actually becoming this player that's just, she's so good that she's just always there. Like, actually, Josie and I were watching the match. She's like, Mom, so like Harper never comes out. And I go, no, she doesn't. She's, she's always on the floor. And what's really fun to see about Harper's journey is she's always been a dynamic athlete, always. But I think if we're talking about, okay, how have players progressed and what do we see really new for them this year that they've definitely improved upon and have been intentional about, is I would just say her consistent leadership on the floor. And she's not necessarily leading with her voice, although she does. She's really leading by doing.
Yeah.
And I think her teammates are very her confidence, and I would say her teammates' confidence in her is very high, and she demonstrates it. And that is what she did really well today.
I mean, you gave the stat line, right? 10, 2, 2, 10, and 1. That's a double-double. Pretty quiet, pretty under the radar for, I mean, not that everyone on the team isn't a superstar in their own right, but I feel like that is the mark of a superstar player when they take the next step, is second on Nebraska in kills, but not the story behind the 2 middles, right? You're not going to Harper Murray first, but she's second on Nebraska in digs behind only Olivia Malk, who's playing libero.
Right.
And that to me is the mark of a superstar who does her job.
Yes.
Where she's grown. I mean, we all remember as Husker fans what happened at the end of this class's freshman year.
Yes.
Texas went after Harper Murray repeatedly. And now she's a consistent double threat because she's put in the work where it's not just about, oh, if I'm not getting swings, if I'm not getting kills, why am I even here?
Right.
She's put in the work behind the scenes, become a better teammate, become a better passer.
Yep.
And those 2 things go together, that now she can play 6 rotations. She's putting in the work in the gym. And that even when it's not, quote unquote, her night, you can come away incredibly impressed. You just look at the box score and you just look at, oh, she has a double-double. Run of the mill. I guess that's just Harper Murray being Harper Murray.
Yeah. I mean, she's put in the work. What I think is playing out for her on the court is she's put in the work from a mental strength standpoint on how she handles herself in the match. Not that she's never handled herself poorly in the match. I'm just saying, when you can actually be a person that plays consistently, that you essentially provide that strength and glue as if you're not even there, it's kind of weird. But those players are so important on a team because, right, if she doesn't put up the stats that she has, well, then the middles don't have the night that they have, right? The setters don't have the night that they have. And so I think that is her evolution. And then what's going to happen is when she's called upon to have more production from a kill standpoint, she will do that, and that's what makes this team special. Last week, Harrison asked me, well, who would you give the MVP to? Like, we're going through the sets, and I kind of gave MVPs to everybody, but I really like that's not just giving MVPs to everybody, you guys, because I want to be nice to everybody. I want to give a trophy to everybody because not everybody got an MVP in this match, right?
Sure,
Not everybody did.
Mhm.
But there's a time when every player has a role on a team. And I think what makes this Nebraska team special, and they'll continue to work through their things, is, they know their roles, but they're also not afraid to stretch themselves, right? I mean, you're talking about, okay, what's the evolution of Rebecca, Andy, and Harper when you look at what they were like as freshmen compared to what they are today, right? They have taken the risk of stretching themselves, whether it be from a physicality standpoint or whether it be from a mentality standpoint. And that's what makes those players great. And then you combine them together. That's what makes championship teams.
Nebraska moves to 12-0, 2-0 in the Big Ten with a 3-set sweep of Maryland today. Mandy, let's look at the weekend ahead for Nebraska. It's the East Coast road trip for the Huskers. They will go out to Penn State to Rec Hall on Friday night and then turn right around. They'll be in New Brunswick at the Jersey Mike Center for a volleyball match against Rutgers. Your expectations for Nebraska on this 2-game road trip toward the end of the week?
Well, I think they'll be successful. I think Penn State, I didn't check their record before today, guys, so I'm sorry. I mean, they're always a very competitive. They're very good. Their setter stepped away for mental health reasons, which great. She needed to do that. You have to do that. But, Izzy Stark was, one of the top setters in the nation. So from, what will they look like when we come out against them? They're always going to be competitive. And when you go to Happy Valley to play, it's tough. Their venue, although I've never been to it. However, next week's host, because I can't be here, is going to be on Tanya Tauke-Dorn. Tanya and I played together at Nebraska 96 through 99. She was a middle. I was a left side. She and I were also roommates our freshman year. But anyway, she's going to host next week, which I think will be really cool because she's actually been to that venue.
Okay.
That venue is kind of similar to, say, what the Coliseum was back in the day. I think it's a very intimate venue. It's a very loud venue. I think I remember Tanya telling me it also only has one bathroom, which is very problematic then between, games 2 and 3 and beyond. But Penn State and Nebraska is a rivalry.
And Nebraska owes Penn State a little something.
Yeah, we do. A lot
of something.
And I have a feeling that when the ladies show up at Penn State, they're going to be, ready to go. And it'll be a great match. I think it will definitely be fun to see the team, come out having had a great preseason, having a great match against Michigan, having to work through some things with Maryland, right? That's why today's match is great, right? We maybe didn't do things perfectly, but we tried out some new things and we worked through some things, and our middles had a great match. So to take that into the Penn State match, I think that sets us up very well for success. And to be able to then carry that on to Rutgers when we play that on Saturday, it's tough doing back-to-back matches. So that's a grind in itself. That can be challenging from a physical and mental, recovery standpoint. So, it'll be good for us to go out on the road. It'll be good for us to play a great team in Penn State and to then have to come back and, play great against Rutgers.
2 games for the Huskers coming up at the end of the week, Friday and Saturday, like you just heard from former Husker Mandy Monson and Josie Monson, of course, in the building as well. The hour's flown by. Nebraska moves to 12-0, 2-0 in the Big Ten. For Mandy, I'm Austin. This has been Husker Volleyball Postgame. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks.